Haven't done my taxes, I'm too turned up. Haven't done my taxes, I'm too turned up. Okay, cool.
All right.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, this is Jim.
Hi, Jim. This is Jan, and I asked Brent to set in on this too. So
Hi, Jan. Great to meet you.
nice to meet you.
Sorry, I'm doing my tie on. I feel naked without a tie on. So great. Where are you calling me from today?
So I'm in Brazil. Brent's in Austin.
Brazil and Austin.
Mm-hmm.
Great. So did you guys find me from YouTube?
Yeah, I was doing some research on it, and then I watched some of your YouTube videos. They're most informative.
Thanks. I try my best to be entertaining and informative. Just put a smile and crack a joke every once in a while. So, can you tell me a little bit about your situation? Then I'll give you some comments. I guess that's the point, right?
Yeah. So Brent and I are opening up a company it's an online auction company, right? But there's someone, he's going to have to be in Austin because it's a full service where we go out and, lot the items up at the seller's location, right? At their warehouses.
And mostly business to business.
Correct.
What kind of items? Like big items?
It all just depends. It's like lab equipment, medical equipment, anything from chairs to
Vehicles.
Yeah, we sold
Oh,
vehicles.
so like when businesses are either shutting down or moving and they want to get rid of all their stuff, you're gonna put it on an auction so maybe get more money for it, right?
Yeah, that, and also like surplus assets for like universities and hospitals.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it seems like if you're gonna do all the work too, that seems like a pretty easy thing to do. It sells or it doesn't, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and we've been doing it for like the last 10 years for another company, so we're just
cool.
Going out on our own.
Yeah. So that brings us to some questions. What's the best LLC to start?
So are you both citizens?
We're both U.S. citizens.
Yes.
Okay.
But
So
I live in Brazil. All right. So, and he lives in Texas. So
Brazil is, I mean, you're probably not going to report or pay tax in Brazil, right? On anything?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, yeah. So, I mean, you could just start with a regular LLC as you get started, and then you can do depending on the volume that you start doing, you can change it to an S Corp or you can change it to a C Corp. The LLC is great because you can just turn it into anything you want, and it's cheap and easy to start in the beginning. Whereas, like, if you have a C Corp, you can only make it S Corp or C Corp. The LLC can be anything.
Okay.
I mean,
can I?
Do you plan on getting investors in the future?
No.
Not really. Like, and you're not going to go public. I mean, you're going to just kind of.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that would work.
And then I'll still be able to do the foreign earned income.
So that's a good question. There you go. Now you lead me into it. So the foreign earned income exclusion, it doesn't. First of all, it doesn't stop self-employment taxes. So if you're just an LLC, you'll still have to pay self-employment taxes. It doesn't stop you from having to pay that because it comes in as like you make $100,000 and then it takes it out later, but it's still self-employed income. So you're still going to pay that for basically 14% on that. So if you have an S Corp, then you could get rid of the self-employment tax, but then you have to pay yourself like an actual salary, and you pay some self-employment taxes that way.
Mm-hmm.
So, and technically, like when you fill out the form, you're supposed to be paying taxes in the foreign country. If you're not paying taxes in Brazil, it wouldn't really be foreign earned income. I mean, you could still claim and do the credit and probably be fine, but technically, if you're not paying taxes on it in Brazil, then you wouldn't be entitled to it, is the word.
Okay.
I believe. I'm not reading it right now. It's just how I remember it.
Okay.
It
So,
also seems logical too.
right. Yeah, I was just wondering because I'd read somewhere where it might be, it's like if you opened up an offshore company and then you were an employee of that company.
Yeah, that's definitely a way to do it. But then in Brazil is the worst because the way they do. Do you know about Brazil tax system?
I know it's crazy. They're probably higher than anywhere.
Yeah, they pay a lot of taxes. The corporate tax rate. The thing where all my clients, I have a lot of people that move from Brazil over here, but still have businesses in Brazil. In
Mhm.
Brazil, a lot of businesses, oh, man, I used to talk to a lot of attorneys. I haven't talked to one in a while about this, but a lot of businesses like the corporation will pay tax and then they'll send dividends, but the dividends aren't subject to tax where they are here. That's the big issue in Brazil. But for yourself, um, you probably wouldn't get crushed in Brazil, but then you have to pay tax here anyway. So if you can just operate with a U.S. company, that's what most citizens do. Will just operate with the U.S. company, just not report anything in Brazil.
Okay.
Especially because your business is physically doing stuff in the U.S.
Right.
So I think and it's going to be cheaper than opening up a company in Brazil and everything too. So that's what I would do. And then if you want to open an S corp and not pay yourself a salary and then claim the foreign income exclusion, you can pay zero tax, but it's not technically the right way to do it. You should be paying yourself some kind of salary, and you can still. So that said, you can have an S corp and pay yourself a salary, and then still take the foreign earned income exclusion. The only thing that would be inconsistent is that you're kind of telling the government that you're paying taxes in Brazil when you're not. But that might not be the case. You might not have to certify that because it would be foreign earned income, clearly, because you're earning it all in your home in Brazil.
Right, because I'm over here more than 330 days or whatever. Okay, I think so. Just a standard LLC starting out would be best, right?
Yeah, you can do an LLC, and then from there you make an S election, or you can make a corporate election. But I think the LLC it's just easier to operate than a corporation. You have less stuff you have to do.
Okay. And is there any benefit? So we'll be in, all the business will mostly be in Texas. So it's probably just better to open it there, right?
Yeah, sure, certainly.
Okay. And what do you guys charge for that?
Ours, we charge more than other people because we have we're usually working with non-residents where everything's a little trickier. But for businesses opening the LLC and then my continued advice on stuff is $2,500.
Okay. And then what else? Was there, oh, and this is kind of a far out question, and I don't know that it makes a difference, or it was just, I'd read like, so we have software, right? It's custom built software. Is there any advantage to having that under a different LLC?
It's different for hold on a second. I gotta give me 1 second. I heard your question. Sorry. So in terms of intellectual property, this is how much you guys do you think you'll make with this business? Do you think you'll be able to scale it and make a lot of money with it?
Yeah, I mean, it depends what you think of a lot of money, but, I would think we would net probably not the first year, but if everything fell right, probably 400, don't you think, Brent?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Oh, and then once it's working like that, you can scale it. Well, here's why I ask, because what's worked in the past for citizens in terms of tax deferral would be to set up like a foreign trust or a U.S. trust that's a foreign trust. and then have a company under that that owns the tax-free company in a jurisdiction that pays no tax, that owns the intellectual property like the website or the domain, and then you pay that company service fees because it's performing website services for you, and then that money you'd be able to accrue and grow tax-free. It's just the cost of setting up and maintaining that structure might not be worth it if you plan on making and using all the money you make right away anyways. Like unless you plan to have it like 400 grand you want to put away or 100,000 you want to put away every year, then it might be worth it. But with you guys, you could always have retirement. There's a lot of other stuff you do before that point. That's why I asked like how much you're planning to make, because that's the way you would do it, and it's just expensive to set up, and you have to have money to put in there.
Right. Okay.
So for what you're telling me, it's not something you need to do right now. I think you get it off the ground, do it as easy as possible so you can just start working. And then and if you really crush it, you get a bunch of employees and you're making a ton of money, then you can do it that way. So that way in the future, if you ever decide to sell, the money would be already in that company, because you can't just do it. You can't just set it all up later. It has to kind of be set up when you do it. It can't look like tax avoidance. It has to look like a plan ahead of time.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, all of this is assuming the IRS checks. The audit rates are super low, and the IRS is basically closed all the time. So as long as you do all your forms on time, the IRS, the chances are very good that they would never ask you anything, and they'll just accept whatever you tell them.
That's good news.
We want to stay in the good graces. It's always better that way.
Yeah, just because I mean, you don't need to be greedy. If you're making 400 a year, you're in the one top 1% anyways.
Yeah. So.
Especially in Brazil, where you live in Brazil?
I live on the northeast coast in the state of Paraíba. Where South America juts out the east, the furthest east, right on that point.
On the coast, like all the way north.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you speak Portuguese and everything?
I get by, right? But I mean, some people I can understand fine. Other people, they could say the same thing, and it's like, I have no idea what they said.
You have like an expat community you're living with or something?
No, I'm just
doing it. That's awesome.
Winging it. Yeah. So, but I like it. So.
Well, very good. I love it down there too. I've only been to Sao Paulo. I haven't been anywhere else in Brazil, but I speak Spanish, so I'm more inclined to visit the Latin countries that are Spanish speaking first, because I go to Portugal. I go to Brazil and I speak my sloppy Spanish, and they speak their Portuguese, and we get through to each other, but it's a mess.
Yeah, you ought to go to the Northeast. It's different, but it's
a huge country, so I know there's a lot of places there.
Yeah. So. All right, perfect. Well, do you have any questions, Brent?
No, I'm good.
All right. Well, we'll get together after this meeting and hash some stuff out, and then
I think if you guys are close on working with me on this stuff, I think since you're both citizens, I can give you a discount on this, because usually everyone's a non-resident. It just makes everything more complicated. But since you're both citizens, one in the U.S., I can give you a better price on that. Just send me an email about it, and we'll hash it out.
Okay, perfect. Sounds good.
Okay, are you guys cool with me putting this call on the channel?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever you want to do.
No, I mean, I just like to put up more videos, and maybe there's two guys with one living in Brazil who want to start a service business in Texas who will get a lot of value from this video.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. Well, thanks. I look forward to hearing from you guys.
All right. Thanks.
Okay, bye.